Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Hope you're well, man. Hey, good work so far. I think it's important to understand as a player, as you go through this stuff, is like you've made a lot of progress. And I don't have that video from Instagram, but you'll be able to compare it and see. I mean, compared to where your hips were, super level here, um, club face being a little more open, you know, and then because of that, we're really steep in transition. And you went from the club being over here to a little bit more in this position here. So it's important to celebrate that progress because you have done a lot of really good work, but I want to help bring this together. So we've got some really cool stuff I want to share with you that's coming out. We're doing a podcast with a world renowned fitness expert that's actually a Rotary sports expert. So what we're doing is we're kind of verifying all the stuff that we're talking about and of course learning some new stuff. So the big stuff we're talking about now is rotation and using the ground. And one of the things we've learned from our fitness expert is that dorsiflexion, which if you can imagine, if you're laying flat on your bed and the bottoms of your feet are facing the wall in front of you, dorsiflexion would be the ability for your toes to go towards your ankles. And you'll feel it if you do this, it'll feel in your calves as well. And then plantar flexion, which is the opposite, would be the ability for your toes to go towards the wall. Okay, so it's flexing and unflexing your ankle joints. And this is interesting because while there's a lot of coaches that talk about, early extension, which for me isn't just about goat humping. Um, I'm also really pointing out the trailed knee and how it goes from being more of a flexed and then starts to extend early. So you're going to see in your case that you actually increase your dorsiflexion and then it quickly kind of goes away and you start to stand up and it starts to straighten. So you can see it right there. Okay, so we've got some tests just to make sure that it's not more of a physical thing because our expert believes that um, most of the cases of early extension are in fact due to limited ankle mobility, which is really fun and interesting to learn about. But anyway, so we'll go there. But basically, I wanted to give you a drill that's going to really help you feel this. And so I've come up with a drill. I call it the junior club swing. And we came up with this by just doing our summer camps. And, so we have these junior clubs. And what you can do is you just take your 7-iron, just choke down to the steel so it shortens it considerably. And then the idea is that if you put a tee in the ground or if you had a plastic tee on the mat, and you hovered the club and just stood in your normal golf posture, because if we were trying to actually hit this, we'd obviously have significantly more knee flex than I have right here. This is my normal posture. And because I'm in my normal posture, the club is hovering above the ground. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the club to the backswing, and you'll see some interesting things here. You'll see how my hips are more steep, and you'll notice how straight my trail leg is. Okay. And then what I'm doing is I'm telling myself athletically, how would I get my chest open and hit this ball as far as I could? Or in this case, how would I hit the tee out of the ground? And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by over flexing your trail leg, which I'm doing here. So you can see that has gone from straight to an overflex position. Look at how shallow the shaft has become because of that, right? So I'm not doing anything with my arms. And now I'm just going to try and open up as much as I can. And you can see this position right here, okay? So you can do a few basically pump drills doing this. So I'm going to go from my normal setup again. Okay, so I'm all the way to the top of the backswing. And now from here, after stopping, I'm going to say, okay, how would I get to that tee? Over, squat, which increases dorsiflexion of the ankles and allows me to rotate. Okay. So just get that feeling for me. I think that will help you quite a bit. I do want to give you one other drill that we came up with that kind of talks a little bit. You'd mentioned something about lateral bends. I can't remember the exact verbiage you used, but we use a term called right lateral bend or trail side bend. And what we mean by that is once you have a functional pivot in the backswing, if you just go ahead and just do this move, so I take my pivot, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down the back of my leg to the back of my knee. That's right lateral bend, okay? So I'm sort of doing this side crunch, and of course these are all exaggerated. Once I have that right lateral bend, I'm going to bend my trail arm, my right arm, and now I'm just going to leave it there and turn like I'm throwing a baseball as hard as I can with my chest. So I'm not extending my arm is remaining bent, and now from here I'm just going to turn my chest. Okay, and this does two things. We talked about no throws with the right arm. The reason why we want to keep that right elbow bent is because the only way to get to the golf ball is to remain in this slightly tilted, or as I prefer it to call it, right side bend position or right lateral bend position. And that will actually help you getting lower to the ground, using the ground, squatting, rotating, all of the things that we're talking about. So try those couple of drills in isolation, see if you can create that same feel. Truly think the junior club drill is going to be a good one for you. Let us know. Thanks, man.